What is up, Team Happy and Fit? Thanks for joining on this Tuesday. If this is your first call, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. Team calls are just a really great way to connect with our community, to see better potential in this business and not feel alone, to be honest. I had some really incredible things happen today, and I want to talk to you about them. Number one is Kim and Jess. You two are incredible. They texted me today and said, hey, are you available? And I said, I am. What's up? They were talking volume, and it was just really fun to see them want to know more about this business in a growth way and just ask questions about it. I'm always here to answer your guys' questions. I may not know all the answers, but I'll try or seek it out. I just thought it was really powerful that they were really working through things together. It just made me excited that they both see such a bigger vision with this, that they're not just someone who wants a discount. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're on this call, but I just think also, like, if this changes your life, I think you can give this gift to somebody else to do the same thing. Like, that's just kind of how I feel about it. And that kind of leads me to my next person. Who in the heck is Ashley Courtney was my question today, because that girl's a freaking beast, and she has helped 3 new PS coaches get started within what I feel like was an hour. And I reached out to her, I found her, I stalked her on Facebook, we became friends today, and I messaged her congratulations. But the biggest thing was I was just like, how did that feel? How'd that feel? Do you want to know what she said to me? She said, you know, I didn't see myself doing anything in this business. And do you want to know what was a good mentoring question I asked? Not because I'm just like this great mentor, but because it's a great question for all of us to ask. I said, by chance, did you feel that way because you had some fear within your heart? Like, were you like, did you have any hesitations because there were some limitations going on? And she said, 100%. I did not think like someone like me could do something like that and be relatable. I didn't think that I could build a business with this. And now I don't want to stop. Now I want to go to the next rank after Emerald, because she's turning Emerald on Thursday. And I said, all of this has to do with breaking through limitations. Lauren Lundberg sent me a text yesterday asking a question about mentoring. And it was something along the lines of, like, we have some coaches that say, this is a little bit too much, I just want to work on myself. Or I just want to work on myself. You guys, there's nothing wrong with working on yourself. If that's truly all you want to do, that's great. But sometimes we use working on ourselves as a way to not put ourselves out there because we're afraid and we have fear and we don't think someone like me could do something like that. We don't think that our story would be relatable. We get so pumped full of fear, and sometimes you just need someone to freaking believe in you. And whoever believed in Ashley, Courtney, Stephanie, CARA, all of y'all, Amanda, whoever it was, because I was like, who is this girl? I was just so freaking pumped up. How cool is that? And so she said, I'm not stopping now. Sometimes we just need that person to believe in us, and that's all. So if you're here and you're like, there is something stirring within me, I do want to do something like that, you can. You 100% can. And that takes me to my next thing, is I just got off a call with Beth. And let me just tell you, I was in tears talking to her. This is how our mentoring call went, okay? I'm going to talk to you about it. Our first one-on-one, essentially. I mean, we had one other one before, but it was this. It said, hey, Beth, tell me a little bit before you got started. Tell me why you did this, right? So Beth, I'm going to share this. It was so powerful. She started to go, she said, I wanted to make a change. I always thought the 9 to 5 was the only way. The 9 to 5 was the only way, and I felt closed-minded with that mindset, that this is how it's going to be, right? She said, signing up to be a coach, I wanted to get the most out of the membership fee of $15.95. So that girl has been jumping on every team call. She has been involved with the community. She's in our coach collab. She's cheering other people on. I see her. I see that she's not just sitting in the background, but she's up there. She's there. And she said that I'm an introvert, and I realized that there was a place for me because outside of this, I didn't feel like there was. And I said, how cool that introverts can do this, extroverts can do this. Doesn't matter who you are, but there's always a space for you if you choose to be there and you choose that there's a space for you. And she said, and I haven't looked back since. And then she said some really powerful things to me. I said, what do you see with this? What's your vision with this? Because she said she's getting results and she's getting in the best shape of her life. She also said she hated cardio and she didn't think someone like her could do T20, and now she's freaking crushing it. How cool is that? She had limitations on her own self. She couldn't do something like that, and she is doing it, which is so powerful. I said, what's your vision for this now? Before you signed up, you didn't know all this stuff. Now that you're a part of the team, you see this. Like, what do you see now that this can do for you? That was my question. I asked her 2 questions. Tell me before what this is doing for you, what it's done, who were you before? And then what do you see now? She said, I see this, that this can replace my income. And I said it 100% can, and you want to know how you can do that? Is confidence. You own a business. You guys, you don't have to be emerald to have that kind of confidence. You have to think with the future self of, man, I will get there. People join people who know what they're doing and where they're going. That doesn't mean you have to know all the answers. I don't know all the answers. When I first got started, I didn't know all the answers, but I knew what I was doing because I knew where I was going. Then she started to talk about how her husband got the least of her before Beachbody. He got the overwhelmed version of her. He got the tired version of her. He got this version of her that she didn't feel good. She didn't talk well of herself. And I said, did that change? Has that changed? And then we started getting emotional. And she said, he says it to me. He said, you are so much happier. And I just said, this makes people transform. This is making your marriage closer. He works out with her. Well, they don't work out in the same area now because there's not a lot of room. I get the same feels with Eric right now because it's too cold to go in our garage. But he's working out. He's doing Transform 20 now. How powerful is that? That she gives the best to her family because she put self-care on her list. That she's happier. Who is like moved by that? Like, what in the actual heck, man? I was just like, are you kidding me? This is the coolest thing ever. Speak with that kind of confidence. Speak to the 9-to-5 introvert. That's your niche. Your niche is the busy 9-to-5 worker who's an introvert that craves change and who is giving the least of herself to her family. That is your niche. And you are going to talk to that person and say, man, it didn't feel good at night talking the way that I did with my husband about how insecure I was or how I didn't feel filled up. And to be able to walk into a room now and he says, I'm lighting it up. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many 9-to-5 busy woman introverts are going to be like, that are giving least to their family, that are going to be like, Beth, show me how. I trust you. Show me how. I don't want to do that cardio workout either, but if you're telling me that you did it and you didn't think that you could, I'm going to trust you and I'm going to do it anyway. Y'all, that's how we do this thing. It's not, okay, I invited 10 people today. I invited 10 people today. That's not how this works. If you see this replacing your income, which it can and more, you have to speak emotionally to the person that was the old you, but in a way that moves them. But you have to transform as well as you're doing that. So freaking proud of all of you guys. There's so much more I could say right now because today was just like, I love this. I love this. I didn't have to be making money to love this. What I loved so much about this is that it connected me to rad people who just wanted to work on themselves and feel better. And then it turned into something so much more and greater that I didn't know would at the time. But if you want to get there, which I'm telling you that you can, and just like Ashley Courtney, you have to have someone believing in you to say, nope, push through that fear. Someone like you can do this. You are going to do it. You're going to make it. You have to just trust yourself. You are made for this. Even if you have fear. I don't know about you all, but I was so moved. And it just makes me so pumped to be a coach on this team. This team is incredible. I'm not talking about necessarily Happy and Fit. Some of you have gone and expanded your own teams, which makes me so freaking proud. I'm just saying this community that we've built, starting from Happy and Fit, but whatever your team name is, your main hub is, I'm high-fiving you. I'm rooting for you. You take it and you run, and I'm here for you, okay? All right, enough of me. CARA HINTZ, what do I even say about her? I don't even know. She's a busy working mom and wife, and she's just awesome. If you ever get to know her, like, she just makes you feel good in life and lights up rooms for sure. Always calls me babe, and it makes me feel like a babe. And she she's a 3-star diamond, which is like, holy moly. And this girl's going to be 5-star elite this year for sure, which is so cool. 3-star means she has personally sponsored 3 diamonds. And the coolest part about that too is that she's working her husband's business as well. That's why you need to sign up your spouse. And her second CBC, she's going to be making 3 streams of income with this. So it doesn't start off like that, but it's pretty powerful. But anyway, NLC is in LA. It's the New Leader Conference, and it's every fall. Nope, spring. There we go. Had to remember that one. And you get a special invite for once you become a 1-star diamond coach. So for those of you who are on this call, if you go 1-star this year, you're getting an invitation in your email of being able to go to the New Leader Conference. There's about 450 people that go out of 450,000. Special treatment, special parties, corporate tour, free food, Shakeology bar. You get a workout with a celebrity trainer. It's different than Summit, you guys, because it's not thousands of people. It feels so much smaller. And I mean, the napkins are labeled Beachbody. The hotel cards are labeled Beachbody. Like, you have your name on a lit up sign that's on the side of the hotel next to the Grammys. Like, it is so immaculate and so special. But you also get some special trainings as well. And you just deserve it. Like, whoever gets an invitation to that deserves to be there, and you guys all deserve a seat there once you decide you do. CARA, I'm going to stop talking. Take it away. Tell us your takeaways, sister.
Thank you. So I ran and got my bag full of stuff because I've never shared it on my stories yet, but you guys, like, I can't imagine, like, so many people told me how much this conference meant to them. Like, they've been to Summit, they've been to leadership, they've been to Success Club trips, and so many coaches at the party and before the party told me this is one of my favorite conferences whatsoever. And they really do wine and dine you. In addition to all of the nice things that they gave us, they also gifted us both rooms, both nights for free, because you hit, I think it was at least 10 elite points in 2018. And you guys, like, this was such a legit hotel that I had sensors in my fridge. No, it was a mini bar. Just kidding. It had sensors underneath, like, the Grey Goose vodka and the candy bar, and I didn't eat anything, but I'm still pumping. So I was like trying to fit stuff in there. And it was racking up charges because I was lifting things. So I had to go down to the front desk and be like, okay, straight up, I haven't touched anything. Like, I haven't consumed anything from my fridge. And she goes, ma'am, it's a mini bar. Okay, sorry. Small town Iowa girl living in LA. Never going to happen, by the way. So that was just a funny story because I learned my lesson. Because if I wouldn't have gone down there, I don't know what my total would have been. But on a more serious note, I think my number one takeaway from NLC was it validated how much our team is on the right track. Like, when you show up to these team calls, when you show up for your team cup, when you show up to invite that one person that's on your chicken list, we're ready to get over your damn self. So when you are, reaching out to your upline for a question, or when you're reaching down and trying to dig deeper with another coach, like, it was so validating to me that we are on the right track, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't stop and think about what if I didn't have this team, would I still be here? Would I be as successful as I am? And my answer would be no. Like, I have grit, but this team is something that I didn't know I needed. And so I'm here because all roads lead to coaching. And it's about falling in love with the process and not the outcome, which was another takeaway of mine. Like, I always kind of thought that, but once I think it was Ali Tessitore. She said that. And so it really, Keisha Fitzgerald said that. She's a 9-star diamond. And it really just resonated with me because, you guys, if you love reaching out to people, if you love the transformation and not the transaction of people, you're going to fall in love with the outcome, but more importantly, you're going to fall in love with the process. And that's when Julianne says, like, this isn't work, right? Like, we get to change lives, and people aren't transactions, they're transformations. So I have some nuggets, and sometimes I like to be all over the place because, you know, when I post from the heart. I always post on like what I'm thinking. And that's just me being authentic and me not just writing something up and just posting just to post. So a lot of this weekend was I just wrote down nuggets that really spoke to me, and I hope that some of these can speak to you too. Um, so Carl kicked us off, and he was talking about like his journey and like when they decided to, you know, take Beachbody and make it Team Beachbody, right? Like he had no idea what he was getting himself into. All he knew was that they were making a lot of money, but they weren't seeing the results. And so he's like, the common theme was there's no place for fear here. The only place for fear is when you look back and it scares you the leap that you took. So I really want you guys to think about that is fear has no place in your future. All it has is when you're looking back, you're like, holy crap, I did that. How did I do that? The other thing that was a resounding theme for me is having a CEO mindset, but having a blue collar work ethic. So having the balance of sharing your vision, creating that community, being that leader that steps up when nobody else does, taking the blame, making sure that you're not taking excuses. Leaders don't make excuses, leaders make solutions, but also having the grit to see it through, right? We're not coaches that we get to a point where we're making so much money and we put ourselves in meetings all day like corporate America, right? Like we still have to do our vitals. We have to connect with people. We have to lead a team. It's not, I just like that. I like that slogan because that really helps me balance of, you know, 80% is blue collar, is doing the work and showing up for your own business. And then 20% is, you know, that CEO mindset, the leading the team, the casting the vision, and so on and so forth. Like I said, don't focus on the outcome, focus on the action. And then, so I don't know how much you guys paid attention, but there were 4 guest speakers. And it was Ali Tessitore. You guys may know some of these coaches, but Ali Tessitore, Amy Rada, Ashley Molstead, and Keisha Fitzgerald. And it was really cool to see everyone was so different. If you guys have been around, Ashley Molstead, top coach this year, her business looks very different from Melanie Mitro's. Like she talked about like not getting up early in the morning, the fact that she found herself most productive between 10 and 1. And like the first 2 years of her business, she worked to the bone to get herself to like number 43 or whatever. And then she doesn't work weekends anymore. Like just very different. And so obviously that's very different from what we've heard. If you guys listen to Melanie's podcast, you know she is very disciplined and just shows up at the same time every single day, you know, weekends at 5 a.m., so on and so forth. Amy Rada went from 5-star to 15-star in just 1 year. She was sitting at New Leadership Conference last year. So that to me is crazy. And she's a retired teacher as well. And Ali Tessitore, so her story is kind of flipped. She was a paid 10-star and she went down to 1-star. Like she had a bunch of coaches leave between October and January because they found that they wanted to transfer to some other multi-layer marketing. And then they found out that was hard too. So, and then not only the comeback story is she went from 10-star to 1-star, but then she made it back to 15-star. She grew 16 diamonds in like less than 1 year, I want to say. So I'm sharing these stories because I think it's important for us to hear it because we all think that, oh, once I get to 15-star, I'll be happy. Or once I get to 5-star, I'm going to feel a certain way. guys, I feel the same way at 3-star as I did as a diamond, as I did as an emerald. Like, because once you hit your goals, you want to be someplace else and you have to fall in love with the process. Otherwise, you're just wasting your journey. Like, you're just wasting like this awesome time. And I have this community to thank for that, because if you guys didn't constantly remind me of it, then I feel like I would just be about rank. Like, that's where my mean girl goes. Like, your worth is connected to a rank, your worth is connected to your paycheck type thing. But yeah, so I just thought I'd share that quick. Let's see here. So Allie talked about the five things that she really wanted to make sure that she was successful in. Number one thing that really brought her from a paid 1-star back to a superstar. And if you guys don't know what a superstar diamond is, you have 15 diamond coaches under one business center. So 15 coaches, then you have 8 coaches plus 2 emeralds under each diamond. So lots of mentorship and lots of leadership and lots of time invested in these people. So number 1, she spoke daily affirmations to herself. She said, I will be ... and then she inserted the goal. So I will be 10-star by April 1st. I will be 15-star. I will have, this person as, I will help this person mentor this person, so she spoke to herself daily. She kind of created the miracle morning for herself, which she was not doing before. So I thought that was very interesting, because I think we can make up in our minds that when somebody's a certain rank that they've got it all figured out. And I don't think that's always the case. Number 2, her inviting process changed. She invited 3 people to coaching daily, and she hosted a coach info session. So I believe that was a Facebook Live session. Number 3, her onboarding new coaches looked differently. And so she utilized Beachbody's first 30 days. She focused on hitting Success Club, helping 3 people, basically helping them get their investment back that first month, because in achieving their first month, then they knew how good it was to help other people, and they craved that feeling. And so it's like, okay, tell me more. I want to do this the second month and the third month. And then at that point, it's getting your product paid for, right? It's the ongoing pay yourself back. And then she had a group that was Emerald in 7 days and a group that was Diamond in 60 to 90 days. And one other thing she talked about, which she created 2 threads. She has a new coach thread each month, and she has a level up leadership each month as a thread. And so basically it goes back to work with the working, not work with the willing. So those people who were showing results were in that thread, and she reviewed it every single month. So it was a nice accountability tool. Number 4, she said she didn't share her vision enough. So I went live in my team page. So that's a huge takeaway of mine, is I don't feel like, especially for newer coaches, especially if they don't know me, they don't know me, they don't know my heart, they don't know where I want to go with this, they don't know how I want to help them achieve whatever. And so I broke it down into, what does my vision look like physically? Like, what do I want these women to physically feel like, or mentally, and then freedom wise and income wise. I think I've always shied away from the money aspect because I never wanted people to think that I was just in it for the money, but it's provided me so much freedom, and it's provided me like the investment of, okay, my time is worth this because I'm finally paying myself for it. And the 5th one she talked about was meeting your coaches where they are. So obviously when you're getting started, you might have some discount coaches. Raise your hand if you are a discount coach or you started as a discount coach. Lots of hands. That's amazing. Because I think Keisha said she was too. So you just never know where this journey is going to take people. And so when you meet your coaches where you are, you don't discount the discount coach. Any questions? I haven't been looking at chat. Julian, did you see anything?
Nope. Just a lot of pumping up. Like, girl, keep going. You're rocking it.
Thank you. My second takeaway was great coaches anticipate. I think I've done a better job of this in the past. I think for the last year, I've really been reactive. So one thing going forward is I want to be really sure that I'm anticipating like things like product launches. So they were talking about, you're kind of like the chief reminding officer, right, as a coach. So when you're the head of a team, you're reminding your customers, you're reminding your team. Take Fruit Punch Energize, making sure that you're sending out emails, you're talking about it in your stories, you're finding fun ways to bring it up. Maybe you're sharing success stories. Carl had somebody posted to Carl's story when they were drinking the Fruit Punch Energize that it tasted like Hawaiian Punch. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Because who as a kid didn't like Hawaiian Punch, right? And I don't know, Julianne, have you guys tasted it?
It was that leadership.
Yep. It was that leadership too. Okay. I am not a fruit punch fan. My first spark was fruit punch, and I was like, no, I'm never going back. And Mariah and I tasted it, and it was bomb. Like, it was so good. And so I'm just excited for you guys all to try it, get excited about it. And I love the stick packs because now you can get the stick packs and it's not your jam. Guess what? Now you have a gift to give. So great leaders anticipate. Allie talked about how with each product launch, they created a brand around the product launch. So for 80-Day Obsession, they did hashtag Obsession Babes. And for Transform 20, they did hashtag Transform Tribe. And then everybody got to add to it. So, you posted it, you saw all of these success stories, all of these people. You basically got the feeling of the community before you even started. Let's see. Ashley Molstead, when she spoke about the Why Not You. And I just love her. Like, she is so red and direct, and I think she would have dropped the F-bomb if she could have. But she said about everything else. But it was very refreshing to see somebody else who's so different get that top coach honor, because it just shows you that there's people in so many different chapters out there and so many different kinds of people that need our help. So, I mean, why not you? Like, if Ashley Molstead can do it, why not you? I mean, she said she's not the most organized, but you guys see her Success Club members, like, they're crazy. And Emily is her coach. So Ashley hit 1, Emily hit 3. So I just think that's really powerful. And she talked about making your burden your blessing. If you guys know Mariah White, she talks about making your mess your message. So I think that just backs that up. So, what is your burden right now? I feel like Lauren does such a good job with this because Lauren has had a heck of a couple years, and she always brings out the best in what she has learned, and she always serves to be that light for other people who are going through that pain and that struggle and that redemption. Ashley Molsa had no upline, so she, in making her burden her blessing, she decided that no upline meant she had the freedom to do what she needed to, and she didn't have to ask for permission. So I love that. She said, we all have an excuse that robs us from our potential. So if it's, she talked about how she was on the top 10 trip last year, and she kind of got really emotional about this, but she said, I was the biggest one there. I was in the top coach ranking at that time, and we went to wherever they took their, trip to. And she did not want to go to the pool. She didn't want to go hang out with people because she was body shaming herself because she didn't feel like she was fit. And she's like, who wants to follow me? And at that point, she's the top coach in the network. So your mind can either be your best friend or it can be your biggest enemy too. So Italy, thank you, Kim. So between the coaches, they had some coach stories, and one of the stories was a teacher who ended up retiring. She ended up actually teaching. She was very fired up, very passionate teacher, and she actually was coaching a few miles away from the conference center. Um, and she ended up retiring. She ended up like just being the burnout teacher and deciding if that, if this is all it is, if this is all that's left for the next 30 years of my life. And she found Beachbody, and she non-negotiable. She was up at 3:45 in the morning. She made it her priority. And there was something, I tell you guys this because I want to give you the backstory, but she said, I didn't leave teaching, I just left the classroom. Right? All my teachers, I know there's several of you on here, so I was like, oh my gosh, I have to share that. Like, that's amazing. Oh, let's see here. Allie just shared some tips. She said something, February can be a slower month, so I found this very fitting right now. She said, just because you're ready doesn't mean that others are. And they talked about the rule of 7, that people have to see your stuff 7 times before they're willing to take a look at it, or they're willing to say, yes, send me more information. So for those of you that have only followed up 3 times, you're in good company, and follow up more, because they are watching, and it just needs to be perfect timing. Plus, you want them to stay, right? You don't want it just to be a harebrained idea and then just change their mind, a month later. Let's see. So I guess the top 3 things that I'm implementing now is I talked about the product launches. I talked about anticipating, making sure that I'm planning ahead. I don't always do that, and I should, because I know better. So product launches, anticipating, planning out how I'm going to talk about different fun ways I can talk about product launches. I need to highlight others' success stories more. And then I need to be talking about it daily in my stories. The second thing is, I don't remember who said this, but they were talking about, we talk about reverse engineering our goals, right? We have a dream board. I want to be this by when December 31st of 2019 arrives, what do I want to have accomplished? We're really good at doing that. And then we talk about monthly goals, right? But how about quarterly goals? A lot of success is based upon, like if you want to walk across the stage at Summit, you need to be qualified by June 6th. That's the date that you need to qualify before Summit. Rank advancement, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but when you hit 2-star, you get a bonus every quarter if you qualify for a 6-period qualification. So every quarter, Beachbody just sends you an extra check off the side. They put, is it 10 or 15% of the earnings in each pool? I forget. What she's saying right now. Anyway, so they put that in 10%, yeah. But they just send you an extra check for your mentorship and your leadership. So that's amazing. And that climbs as you hit 2, 5, 10, and 15. You get all the pools below you as well. So it's a huge compound effect. So what I'm going to be doing for my team, and I've already talked to our team, not my team, our team, Team Fit and Fearless, is we are going to be very, very intentional about creating a document that shows monthly, like a planner by month. So like product launches, maybe back office is down, new things coming out, and also qualification period. We have a push to diamond right now. We have a diamond retreat planned for May. So my girls, my downline, have until March 21st to qualify. If they qualify, we are paying for them for a diamond retreat, probably in Des Moines. I don't know yet, but it gives us time to be together as a team in that community. So I feel like having this document here, they can go back to it. All right. So And that leads me to my third one is just Brittany Frost. Her Zoom was absolutely amazing. And just finding the right way to organize your stuff is probably the biggest headache of mine right now. Like, I am all about getting to work, and it's being organized in it. It's, am I a pen and paper girl? Am I a Google Sheets? That kind of thing. So that's my third is I keep thinking I don't want somebody to fall through the cracks that needs my help. So those are my top three. Otherwise, I can't wait to implement more in the future, but this is what I'm going to implement now so I can actually get it done.
Dude, so good. I just love you. Okay, I have some questions, and everyone else can drop questions in the message thread. Why did you sign up to become a coach?
I signed up as a coach because I wanted the discount on Shakeology. And I honestly wanted what Kim already had. Like, I had found success in 21 Day Fix. I believed in it, but I still wasn't good with my nutrition. And so I wanted to sign up and get Shakeology, and I fully had the notion of sending back an empty bag and canceling my membership. And that would have crushed Kim. Like, I'm so sorry that I thought that, but I wanted to prove that it didn't work almost. Like, I was secretly hoping that it would work, but like my guard was up, and I was like, I've done Visalis, I've done Hydroxycut, like I've done all of it. And I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think just like you should share that more for sure. And that's so crazy. So so you signed up for the discount. First and foremost, I'm seeing some comments in here of like, you guys, team calls, like they're going to be all over the place when you're new, and you just have to trust that you'll get it, but you're in the right place if you want to work on yourself. So if you want to do workouts and you want to work on your nutrition and have more energy and have more positive, fun friendships, that is where this is. And the coolest part about being around that is that you can build a business around it. So just as much as when I started teaching, I was freaking overwhelmed with, how many of you did student teaching and you're like, what in the heck did I get myself into? Like, they did not teach this to us in school. You're overwhelmed. However, after student teaching, my first year of teaching looked a lot different than my second year of teaching, and my second year of teaching looked a lot different than my fifth year of teaching, right? So sometimes when we are exposed to something new, how many of you were overwhelmed with your first meal plan of Beachbody? Oh, heck yeah, you're looking at that thing where it's like, what, that container is that big? Like, that's a small container. Like, how, like, what? I'm gonna starve. That's how I felt. So initially, new things can make us feel overwhelmed, but overwhelmed is a choice. So take a deep breath. We're here. We're just hearing CARA talk about a really cool experience, but where to get started as a coach is just to start showing up to places, and you'll get the hang of it. I can promise you that. So CARA, you signed up with all the intentions to getting your money back. Love it. What made you believe that there was something more to this thing than just getting a discount?
So after 30 days, I needed to see success, right? I needed to feel a difference in order for me to pay $106 plus the business fee. Because I love myself a discount and I love saving money. So I felt a difference after 30 days. And I was just the fly on the wall in that challenge group for probably 3 to 4 months. And I don't know if it was a true event, but Kim needed me to post in the challenge group. Like, she had something going on, and she's like, could you post this? And oh my gosh, I came up with my most elaborate challenger post. Like, I still remember it was about bloating, and I got super real and like, I know you're laughing at me because you totally know like what I'm going to say. But I got hooked. Like, I got hooked. Like, I got to add value to that group instead of just showing my workout or showing my shake. And I think it was from then on, I was like, I can do this. And if I can speak, I think it's Chantel. If I can speak to Chantel for a second, or like whoever is new on here, I might be in a different place. Don't compare where you are to where we are, but our feelings are exactly the same, right? Because when we feel challenged, when we feel like we're not enough, when we're uneasy, or when we feel fear, like fear is fear, right? Like we can decide that we can allow it to paralyze us, or we can just take a small step forward and lean into it. So, and that's really all this is just brick by brick, you are building your confidence.
And just trusting that. And you know what? The number two things, I read this in a book, the number two things that, does that make sense? Number two things that get in people's way, there we go, is either from starting this or when they do to not do anything, is can the person or team that I signed up with help me get to figure this out and get going? Like, is this the right person or the right thing? And then number two is, can I do this? Like, can I actually do this? Is a big thing that trips up people, because they're using their old way of thinking of life is hard, fear, excuses get in their way. But what you have to do is think so much of like, I can figure this out. You guys, I never tried Shakeology or workout before joining as a coach. I thought Beachbody was you got fit on a beach. I honestly had no idea about anything, but I knew how hearing a Zoom like this from the couch made me feel. And it made me feel something. It moved me to sign up as a coach. And I said, I can figure it out. Whatever it is, I can figure it out. I just have to trust that it's like going to college for 4 years, not be like, I need to know everything within 72 hours. CARA, incredible. And then to help your first few people, like, what was that like? And then why have you continued to do that as far as like Success Club goes? Was it nerve-wracking? Were you afraid? Did you talk to someone you knew? And then how did it feel finally helping someone with this?
So it was nerve-wracking. Guys, so I'm a branch manager. Like, I've worked in the credit union industry for 14 years. So I have some poise, like, at my current position. And I felt like a beginner. Like, I felt, who is going to take me seriously on social media? Because I have been a fly on the wall on social media. Like, I would post pictures of like my now 4-year-old as a baby, like once in a while. And I was never posting about my life. So it was hard. Like, I don't know how many conversations I had with Kim. And I think with everyone that I sent out, I just knew that I had something to offer. I don't think I thought it back then, because like I wasn't connecting the two. I think I craved the feeling of helping somebody achieve their goals. And Steph Muller really brought this back to me, because her story is that, you know, her and her husband Dan, they wanted to have a family, they wanted to buy their dream acreage, and she left her coaching. Like, she thought she was sacrificing her coaching for good because she wanted a family more, and she was sacrificing her group fitness because she wanted to be on an acreage, and it didn't make sense to drive that long to go to and from for an hour class. And I started thinking about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me. Like, I wasn't willing to sacrifice coaching volleyball to teenage girls who don't always listen to you, but now I get to help their moms, and now I get to help the home. So like, that was huge for me as well. What was your second part of that question?
And how did it feel finally helping? Because I think we can have so much fear when it comes to talking to people, but I always say, like, it's sweet when we become coaches, but what's even cooler is bringing a coach with us. Like, what's like, Emerald's cool, but then once you hit Emerald, like, and you have someone else hit Emerald, it's like way cooler. It's like when you went to New Leader, I feel like that was way cooler than me going to New Leader.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rush. I mean, it was a negative rush until I knew what they were going to say. But I think early on, I had to learn to not connect to the outcome. I just had to believe that I had something special to share. And I came out of a postpartum, not feeling good about myself, couch potato, scrolling, HGTV. Like, that's all I did on my maternity leave my first time. And my second time was very different because I was an established coach. So I just kept thinking how bad I felt before, because this bad, reaching out to people with uncertainty and not knowing what they were going to say, if they were going to block me or treat me differently or whatever, like that still was the route I was willing to take versus what already knew was what was happening when I wasn't doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think everyone needs to write this down. Like, what makes a coach a good coach? If you care about people. You don't have to know everything that we just talked about tonight, but if you genuinely care about other people, you'll be so good at this. I think that is like the main message. That it's not about having it all together. It's not about having you don't have to know everything to get going in this. If you care about people, that's enough. And I think you just need to remind yourself of that, of like, why am I going to be so awesome at this? Mm-hmm. Is because I love people. I really see the good in people. I see that this can change people's life. And it does. Like, after seeing CARA grow so much, seeing your team grow so much, talking to Beth tonight about how that story about her husband, like, getting the least of her, to now him being like, you're so much happier. Like, that story literally, like, that's why I know I have to keep going in this, where that completely is making the relationship better, right? Or like, just even how many of you have more confidence? How many of you used to body bash all the time? And maybe you still do. You heard Ashley Molstead, she was still a coach when she was like thinking those thoughts about going to the pool. But how many of you consumed daily of those thoughts of, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to amount to anything? Do you guys realize, and I think that, you know, this opportunity has really taught me this, that I get to break a lot of change from generations before me in my family. Like, many generations before me of divorce, addiction, and all that stuff, like, stops, and we get to leave a legacy 7 generations down that changes that. And we also get to show people that it's not about, you don't have to be book smart to be successful, that you don't have to be school smart to make it in life, because I thought that I was the dumbest kid in the world because my test scores weren't good. My grades weren't good. And this journey has taught me that being me is enough. That if I can just connect with people and share my heart with people, and I was someone who thought working out was for punishment only. You eat a cookie, you go run a mile. Like, that's how I viewed working out, until this journey, I've realized, wow, working out makes me feel powerful. It has more mental clarity. It makes me happier. It allows me to have more endorphins happening. It's shaped up my body for sure, but there's so much more to it. As far as connecting with a positive community instead of people who just want to complain all day, do you know the impact that has on life? Approaching social media to share a positive message of hope versus bashing and trying to tear down other people and complain about things. Do you see the change in that, of what we get, the movement that we get to be a part of? So how are you going to be a good coach? I care immensely about people's well-being. I care about how they treat themselves. I care about how they think about themselves. I care about what their relationships look like. I care about who they surround themselves with. Now, I'm not attaching myself, I heard CARA say this, I'm not attaching myself to the income, whether they believe that or not. But my thing is, I'm going to show up daily to show them. Did you guys see my post yesterday about how my message thread and our DMs blew up with, I'm not kidding, I showed Eric, it was like this long, of all this concern of this person had, like, to the point of like, you're not gonna be able to breastfeed, is what she told me. All because I'm working out, you're probably losing weight, that's not healthy, and like just like going on and on and on about like my before and afters and like all this stuff. And I just looked at that and I'm like, oh man, this is a good post. But then I thought about it. I don't need to share my opinions with people in DMs or my worries with people, but what I can do is share my message in my story. And whoever's willing to connect with my story is who I want to help. But I'm not going to go, when I watch other people drinking Monsters and eating McDonald's for every meal, I'm not going to go send them a DM and tell them how I'm concerned about them. I think that they know already. I think people in life know already, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk a different way. I'm going to look different, and that's going to attract people who want to be different and change. There's a difference there. She said, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm like, but I'm not trying to get your opinions either. You're just projecting opinions because you're concerned. Why? Because you're looking at the glass half empty. And by the way, being healthy while pregnant is actually a good thing. Didn't say that, but it's what I felt. You all are incredible. Morgan, do you have a question? Because you have a little hand on your screen and it's awesome. I just didn't know if that was an accident.
That was from the beginning of the call if we liked country music.
Now it's like something that I can see all the time. That's so funny. Oh man, you guys. Kara, you are phenomenal, sister. Like, Kara, how long have you been a coach?
It'll be about 3.5 years.
Guys, 3.5 years. Come on. Like if you guys
part-time too, like very part-time, like an hour a day until like maybe last year. So
right. But I mean, like, there's someone might be on here that's been a coach for 24 hours or 6 months, or there's everyone is starting from all different places, but 3.5 years, that is amazing. There are people who do more in a year than I've done in 4.5 years, and there's people who have done this longer than me that haven't done what I've done. It's just all your own pace, but that's not really what we're focused on right now. What we're focused on is how can we think better? How can we be better? How can we be better for our families? How can we look at health in a positive way and not as a chore? And how can we just surround ourselves and link arms with people who just want to build other people up? And if there's, like, Kara, thank you for sharing your story tonight. Thank you for sharing your takeaways tonight. It's just so fun to hear from you. And it's so fun to just see you love this so much. Like, that just makes my heart so happy.
And I can't wait for all the people that are going to be there next year, because there will be more takeaways done next year, and I'm excited for the group that is going to make it happen.
Heck yeah, you guys. Okay, I'm going to hit end record.